If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Subscribe, like this video if you like this video, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rainbow and Bloom channel. I'm Melissa, and today I'm coming to you from the Garden of Eden. No, my cousin's garden. And you might hear some co-stars in the background crowing. It's that time of day when the cocks do that, so you might hear them. There's one right behind me. If you're new to the channel, the Rainbow and Bloom channel is about living and thriving with the autoimmune disease known as scleroderma, and occasionally cancer, because I survived both, and other autoimmune diseases, but also just for anybody going through something really difficult, something that seems insurmountable, all the odds are against you. Hopefully, from this channel, you will get inspiration and ideas on how to make it through, how to keep holding on until your breakthrough, as I put it. So, today I'm going to talk about an issue that is really important. I don't think I've ever talked about this before. Maybe I've touched on it maybe once or twice, but home aids. I'm going to talk about home aids today because when you're very sick, particularly right after maybe the second year of this, and you get really sick and you have to stay home and you need help, that's when you learn a lot of things about people. So I wanted to talk to you about 3 things you should do to make sure that that process of just having this person in your home, having them in your life, goes as smoothly as possible. So 3 things, because you need a home aid for... Okay, I thought it'd be cool to sit under a coconut tree. Um, so your homemade can be someone you know personally, or you can get your homemade from an agency. And either way, I think the process should be the same because you're gonna know, even if you already know the person, you're gonna know them in a very different way when you start working together and they're all up in your business, your baths, you just handling your life. You get to know people in a very different way. Um, Hopefully, most of it is good, but a lot of it is, you really see things that you wouldn't have seen before. So, if you have somebody, a relative, a close friend, a neighbor who is able to take care of you, that's really good. Somebody you trust and somebody who will be available, that's really good. My aides came from people I knew, and one was from an agency, and all were disastrous. I had 4. My first was my mom. And so there was, I lived with her because I had to move back in with her. So there wasn't much to talk about. Like she's my mom, we were in the house, she was cooking for me anyway, and doing it, washing the clothes, doing everything anyway. So that was easy. But then eventually, especially after I got benefits, SSDI, and community support, in addition to that, so the state was paying for my aides. So initially, my mom was my aide just because she's my mom, but then she was my aide officially who got paid to help me. And that's the thing, you can actually just, you don't need an agency, even though a lot of them have popped up, especially in Pennsylvania because they changed the law. And I came into the system right when they were transitioning to the new law, taking away the financial management from the state, so that allowed a lot of businesses to pop up. And they are helpful, but they're not necessary if you already have somebody. So the first person was my mom. And then after that, I had other people. One aide was a lady from our church. The second aide was a lady who was recommended to me by a friend in the church. And then the third one was somebody that I went straight to an agency for, I believe. Yeah, I think she came from an agency or something. Anyway, they were all a disaster as far as I'm concerned. Um, so, one of the things that you want to do when you're vetting, first of all, you have to vet them. You have to vet them. Don't think that just because they're in this industry that they have your best interest at heart. Some people, it's just a job, and it's, they don't need a huge education, whatever. So you have to be careful because people will put their best foot forward first. So you want to make sure you're getting the real deal. So don't, it's probably best not to just hop on the first person that comes to you. I think I was in a little bit of an emergency situation, so I really needed somebody as far as I can remember. But you want to try to take your time. And if you're not at that stage yet, it would be good to prepare. Like, who around you would you ask? But so you want to vet the person, and you want to see who they are and see if they can live up to your expectations. But you have to know what your expectations are. So being on time, what tasks, you have to know what tasks you want the person to handle for you. Do you need help bathing? Do you want help with the laundry, food? Should the person know how to cook? And things like that. Do your laundry, clean. Usually they do all those things, but you can say what you want and what you don't want. If you don't want the person to help you bathe, then they won't do that. So know what you're looking for and know what temperament you're looking for. How are they interacting with you in that first interview? I ignored like the first person that wasn't my mom, or the lady that came to me from the recommendation from a friend at church. Um, she kind of had an attitude in the interview, but when you take a recommendation from a friend, there's almost like this sense of obligation. Don't have that. You're not obligated. You kind of think, okay, this person is coming from someone hopefully somebody you trust, so they should be cool. That's the whole point of a referral. But no, you can't assume anything because different people show different sides of themselves to different people. So keep in mind at the beginning, they're going to show you their best face for the most part, whatever their best face is. Sometimes even their best face is like, no. And you want to make sure that they agree that they will be able to do the kinds of tasks that you want them to. So that's two very easy things. I would also say try to have a few options. I know it's not always available because the people that I ended up with, because I was doing it on my own without an agency, I didn't have like a lot to choose from. That's part of the problem, and I really did need somebody to help me. So you just want to try to have, cast as wide a net as you can manage. And then the other thing about having a homemade, other than, so the first thing is make sure they can do what you expect and they have the right attitude and temperament to be around you every day and have in your life and have in your personal business and everything, whether they're related to you, whether they're a friend or whatever. It's the same thing because it's going to be a different kind of relationship. And then the second thing, yeah, your security, the person has to be trustworthy. So I will give you an example. The person is going to be in your business, right? In your personal space. And you want to, unfortunately, a lot of times you can't know that the person is trustworthy until something happens or it doesn't happen over time. But one of them, I'm pretty sure it took a gold bracelet of mine, and I can't prove it, but I know what was going on at the time. And based on things that she would say and also her behavior, I feel like, the bracelet it's gold, it's a unique bracelet. And she would always say, oh, you have unique things. I like that. Your stuff is different. And it was rose, no, not rose, yellow and white gold, little long links linked together. And it was like marbleized, and it's just beautiful. And I never wore it because something was wrong with the latch. So it was always in the same box. I never removed it, but in getting ready for a trip, just she was with me, and I was like frantically looking for things and all that in that time because I had seen it. But when I came back home after the trip, it wasn't there. In that time, my camera overheated, so I had to move. Technical difficulties. Anyway, so yeah, I think my aide stole my bracelet. So, home cameras are a good idea. Even if you don't have that, you can just be, very mindful of what it is you have. Maybe take a personal inventory, maybe take pictures, and you know, there are times when the person is just going to be out of your sight. There's no other way to put it. There's no other way to go about it. So you just need to make sure that the person is trustworthy. And there are ways to let somebody know that you are aware. You know what I mean? Um, but that's a tricky little thing. It's good if you have other people around you, your family, your friends, always checking up on you, always looking around with you. Like another set of eyes, um, without making the person uncomfortable, because you don't want to treat somebody like they're guilty. But you just have to be aware. You have to be savvy. And my aide, the same lady, she bleached clothes. It just seemed, here's the thing. Oh, I just remembered another one. So, this is one of the things that occurred to me going through this. I've had one, two, three aides through church. I'm not trusting church people for anything else. Don't recommend anything else to me because they all, different people, recommended the worst people to me. And the one lady that I knew from childhood, I don't know what her problem was. Here's the thing with my experience with home aides, all of them seemed really like resentful and spiteful. It's very weird when people, I guess, I don't know, they're missing something in life, or they are dissatisfied with their life or something, and you're somebody who is dependent on them. They kind of project it on you or something. I have no idea, but I have the craziest story about home aides. I mean, this one girl, never mind. Just be really careful. And here's the third thing: do not be afraid to fire them. That was the biggest problem I had. It was so. Um, I would find myself in the position where I wanted to protect these people, like I was looking out for their feelings and everything. The one girl that I don't want to get into, I told her to take a shower because she always comes smelling like she had never bathed in her entire life, and I didn't understand why. I mean, you could just smell everything. And so I told her, go take a shower. I gave her a t-shirt to put on because she didn't fit anything. She was heavy set and she was always popping out of her stuff. I gave her a t-shirt, a clean t-shirt. I said, take all the time you need. But she would do things that were so spiteful. And it puts extra strain on you. I'm already dealing with all this stress, trying to get better and all that, and then to have to deal with this other stuff that people are bringing in just makes it worse. And then you feel responsible because technically, not technically, you really are their boss and all this stuff. So don't be afraid to fire them when the time comes. It's your well-being, your happiness, your healing. They're there to be a help to you. And don't be like me and feel responsible for how they feel and all that stuff. There's a downside to being an empath. You want to take everybody else's crap on. But just, if it's time to let them go, let them go. I would dream about getting rid of the second lady. Like, wouldn't it be great if I just sent her a text right now? Don't come back, please. And I could have done that, and I just didn't. Um, and yeah, eventually I was able to I didn't even get rid of her. I had to go into the hospital because I had a relapse and of pneumonia or something. So I had to go in and then I never saw her again. But she knew that things were not I wasn't happy, you know. So it's gonna come across anyway. So you might as well just say, listen, this isn't working out for me. Let's just, you know, don't come back. I will send you your time card and do what you want, but please don't come back. I'll put it in the mail or something. Just do it. Be decisive about it. And that's if you're doing it on your own. Now, if you with an agency, they're supposed to do all the vetting for you. And so you want to, with an agency, excuse me, you have the opportunity to go through different people. There's that distance. That's what they give you. You have someone in between you and that person. If it's not working out, like a temp agency, if it's not working out, you just call up the agency and say, look, please get me somebody else, and that's it. You never have to see the person again or anything. You have to deal with them yourself. So the difference with doing it on your own and with an agency is, on your own, your aide will get all of the money. If you go through an agency, the agency takes their cut, which I think is usually 10% of that person's salary, and they pay the person. So the state pays the agency, and then the agency pays out the person. If there's a problem with, so it's the government, so the money goes out, you know, American government, like clockwork. But if there is some kind of problem with the agency, if they're not in integrity, if they got something shady going on and they're not paying their people right, that could come back on you. If the aid is still showing up and they're not getting paid properly and all that. So, you know, you have to, it's just like finding a person. You have to find an agency that you can rely on to do what they say they're going to do. Um, so those are the main things with AIDS. If you have, if you're in a situation with somebody in your family or somebody, you know, someone you know that you're not dealing with through an agency, and there's something serious that you have to deal with, you know, you can reach out to your, if you have a social worker, or, you know, just the agency, your state agency. You can reach out to them for help. You don't have to go through everything by yourself. If you have a problem with your, you know, your safety especially, you can definitely have somebody at your state's office, whatever they call it in your state. In my state, it's called community assistance, I think. Um, they will have somebody who can intervene on your behalf too, you know? So you really don't have to deal with anybody's crap if you don't want to, just because you're sick and they know that you're in need. One of the problems, though, is if your disease is really advanced, if you're really struggling, you don't want to think about anything else. You just want to get through the day. And so the one little thing about it is there's a lot to keep track of. You have to keep track of the person, you know, what are they doing? You have to pay attention. And then your paperwork, you got to keep track of. I know that these states with these benefits, you have to requalify every year or every couple of years. You got to keep track of that. It's a lot of paperwork. They want to know about your finances. They want to know about your medical state, and all of that. And then if you hire a new aide, you have to fill out the paperwork yourself. So all of the paperwork that you need, just the basic paperwork, I would say just have copies with your own information already in there. And so anything new, you don't have to do everything all over again. So just have like a file folder with the paperwork that you will always need, and have it on your computer too. Acrobat, what do you call it? Adobe Acrobat. Yeah, just have it, the Word document saved in there, or sometimes the state will have a form you can just download. So you download it and it'll be Adobe, and you can just save it on your computer, pre-filled with your information, and that makes life a lot easier. It's good to have a list, your own list of to-dos for with dates for all of the things you need to requalify for, the date, all the forms you're going to need, all your personal information that you'll need, like your tax return, doctors, medical records if that's necessary. Those are the two main things. And anything else that they might ask for, like they tell you ahead of time. So you just keep a list for yourself. So and tack it up on your wall or something. So when the time comes, you don't have to scramble and look and wonder. Because it took me a while to figure that out. Um, I hate having to remember this stuff, and every single time for a few years, I felt like I was starting from scratch, and it was very distressing. So you want to avoid that by just having everything prepared, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, whatever, anything. So I think that's it as far as home aids go. Vet the person, make sure that they are the right personality and character to be around you. Stay aware and alert as much as possible about what's going on. Get help from people you trust just to oversee everything, every once in a while for you. Have your paperwork set up, know what you need to do in the next year, the next time re-enrollment or whatever they call it comes around. And get help also if you need someone to intervene. Um, if something is going wrong and you don't personally want to handle it because it makes you uncomfortable or whatever it is, just make sure that you do not suffer alone in silence when it's not really necessary. All right. So let me know in the comments. Do you work with a home aid? And if so, how's it going? And is any of this information useful to you right now? If you know of somebody who could use this information, please share the video with them and like the video if you like it, and make sure to subscribe. All right. Till next time.